What's up, Watch World? Bearded Watchman here. Hey, I want to talk to you today about the Wonder Woman 1984 watch. Everybody continues to ask me, hey, what watch is that in that movie? Chris Pine was wearing this vintage style Casio or something like that. I said, it is. It is a vintage style Casio. That Casio wasn't even built in 1984. It was released in, I think, 1990, but props to the movie crew, producers, whoever picked this watch. I think this watch is probably the best vintage style Casio design that they could have had for this movie. So I do think that they picked the right watch. That particular watch, the model number of that watch is A168W-1. Awesome vintage style, very, very Casio. It's got really good Casio roots and lines and styling. That watch is pretty cool. Now it's not 3/16 stainless steel and all that stuff. It's kind of some metals and some plastics and polishing and stuff like that. So it's super, super light watch. It's a very cheap watch. That watch only cost about $20. But there's two other watches that are very, very similar to that watch that's in the movie as well. One is a almost exact replica of that watch, which is an A168W, which is actually the predecessor to the watch in the movie. It's a little bit smaller. The illumination on it is not good. The illumination on the smaller one it has a little tiny orange LED on one side, so when you hold that light down, it kind of broadcasts that light across the display, and it's hard to tell. You kind of do your watch like this, trying to figure out if you can see it. The new one, which is the one that's in the movie, which I say new, it was released in 1990. The other one was 1988, 89, somewhere in there. It has an electroluminescence light. Now the Casio electroluminescence light is like the Timex Indiglo. When you click the light, it lights the entire back screen up, kind of a green. It's really, really cool. So as far as one of those two watches, the one from the movie, the A168W-1, is the way to go. It's a little bigger, not huge. It's 36.3 millimeters, so it's a small watch. It's only 38.6 millimeter lug to lug, 9.6 millimeters thick, and 18-inch lugs. So it's a tiny watch, but it has some presence because it's a little thicker, a little beefier. I think that it's a better watch of the two, but I'm going to show you both watches. The third watch I'm going to show you is the predecessor to these two. Very, very popular, super cheap, probably $14, $15 watch. It is a black plastic and rubber watch that is an F91W-1. This watch, super, super popular, probably the most sold watch in the world. It actually has some roots in terrorism. They used this watch for the countdown timers for some of these bombs. So I'm not going to go into detail about that because I don't need the FBI looking at my profile. So you can look up that stuff on your own time. But some weird history with the F91W, which same movement, same pretty much watch, just slightly smaller than the one that's in the movie. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the camera around. I'm going to put all three of these on the table, and I'm going to show you the difference between the three, and I'm going to show you that watch that is in Wonder Woman 84 that Chris Pine did wear, that everybody continues to ask questions about. What watch is that? Where can I get it? It's very, very simple. You can buy all three of these watches on Amazon. They're all $20. Well, the F91 is less than $20, but you're going to see $20, $21 on Amazon. Just go click on there. And are they worth buying? Absolutely. They're vintage style. They wear very, very well. They're very light. I like all three of them. If you have a smaller wrist, they're going to fit perfect. If you've got a wrist that's 7.5 over, they start to look a little tiny. So you're probably better off you getting like a G-Shock or something like that. Unless you want that old vintage look. If you want that vintage style, vintage look, that A168W-1 from the movie is the watch to go. But let me spin this around and let me show you what these three are all about. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. These are the three. This guy here is the A168W-1. This is the Casio from the movie that Chris Pine wore. Wonder Woman 1984. This is it. This guy here is really its little brother. They're almost twin brothers. One is just a little bit bigger than the other. This is the Casio A158W-A. And this guy here, which I decided to put this in the review just because it's very, very similar. These two are based off the exact same watch. One is just black and one is stainless. This one is the F91W-1. So now I'm going to slide this guy off. I'm going to talk about these two, okay? So this one here was released before this one, but this one, the light in this one is your regular, well, if I knew how to work them. So the light's up top. Hold that little light. You see that little tiny light? I don't even know if you can see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one of my lights off so you can see these two. And I want to show you these lights real quick before I really go into a review, because this is the major, this is really the major part of these two guys. So let's shut some lights off. All right, lights off. Now, this guy here, if I turn this on, you can see that little tiny LED. And you can tell that it lights half of that screen, okay? And this is the A158W-A, okay? This guy here, which is the A168W-1 from the movie. Now you can see the entire thing lights up. And you can display that guy wonderfully. See the difference? Big time difference. This is the true, real difference of these two watches. Now, let me flick my lights back on real quick. Alright, so the other differences in this is you can notice the bracelets. The bracelets have just a little bit different. This bracelet has bigger gaps. It's just a little, the style is a little different than this one. These are a little tighter. The clasp are the same. The keepers down are the same. They're both very, very similar in the back. So these watches are very, very close, okay? Now the difference in size, you can tell, lug to lug wise, maybe not so much, but you can see how this one has this piece here. This one doesn't, it's kind of cut out. So you can see how that piece is kind of cut out down at the bottom. And this piece isn't. So it gives it a little more presence on top side. On the side shot is where they're pretty good bit different. You can see how thin the 158 is, and the 168 is just a thicker watch. It just shows, it just has more presence on the wrist. So, but now as far as looking at the display, the displays are exactly the same. You still have your time, you have your alarm, you have your stopwatch. This is going into set mode. So same thing here. Have your time, clock, time, alarm, stopwatch, not stopwatch. So now this guy here it says illuminator down in red, okay? And up top it says electroluminescence. Catch that there. Let's see. They have the same modes, they have the same controls and all that. This guy here does not say it. It says water resist down at the bottom, doesn't have anything up top. So as far as that goes, you can tell the difference on those two like that. So now the A58 does not have, you can see there's no drilled lugs. No drilled lug holes in that. And the A68 from the movie has drilled lugs. So you can pop these on and off fairly easy. And they actually get that from this guy. This guy actually has drilled lugs too. And I think it's more because these straps, if this strap tears or breaks or whatever, it will, you can pop them off, pop them on real easy. And on the bottom side, there's no real way to get to the bottom of that. As of this guy, you have these little notches that you can get a tool in there and get them knocked out. They all have screw down case backs. Well, I say screw, there's 4 screws. It's not, the case back isn't screwed down, but the case back is stainless steel. But this part of the watch is plastic. The whole case is plastic, and then you've got kind of a mineral crystal front on there. Same thing here. Now, you can tell that both of these down at the bottom say WR. The water resistant, that big giant WR down at the bottom. So, but these are very, very, very close. These are almost the identical watches, just very subtle changes to them. This cutout that I was talking about on this guy, that cutout is less pronounced on this one. This one is actually more like this guy, but still smaller. So now what I want to do is I'm going to show you this guy. Okay, so I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist. You can see how that looks on there. It wears perfectly, but it's super thin, so you can see how thin that guy is. If you go over to the A16A, this is the one in Wonder Woman, you can see how it stands up, it holds a little better presence, but it still wears just wonderfully on a wrist that's 6 3/4. I really like the way this watch wears. So that's pretty much, in theory, those 3 watches. I don't know how much more detail that I can go without just repeating myself over and over and over. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot a couple little videos and a couple pictures of them so you can see them. But these are the 3 guys, man. This one is the one from the movie, and A168W-1. This one is the one that's slightly thinner, so if you think this one's too thick, this one is your watch to go with. This one's slightly thinner, it's A158W-A. It doesn't have the luminescence, it has the little LED on one side. And then this guy here is just your hardcore, really beater watch, throw around, do whatever in the world you want to with it. This guy is gonna come under $20 on Amazon. These 2 are gonna be right at 20 or just a hair over. So guys, there you go. Enjoy the videos and the pictures of these guys, and we'll catch you later. All right, guys, I hope you watched and really liked the review that I had on these watches. I took the time and did some photography and a couple little quick kind of B-rolls on them so you can kind of see what the watch kind of looks like in real time and what it looks like in photos. These watches don't come in the most appealing boxes and packaging. So when you get them, it's not like that micro brand watch feel wooden box, open it and all of it's displayed and all that. It's just kind of a Amazon, stick it in a paper box, shove it in an envelope, throw it on your front porch. When you pick it up, you're kind of going through the shrapnel of packaging, and then you pull the watch out. The watch is really more than just that. So take that thing out, take a couple pictures of it, really get to like it. And I think if you get it on the wrist, I think you're really going to like all three of these watches, preferably the A168 from the movie. But guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Click like and subscribe. Don't go around smashing any buttons. I don't want anybody smashing their stuff. There's no reason to smash things. So just click it lightly and click the subscribe, and I'll keep sending these videos to you. And hopefully the quality, I'm going through a different camera lenses and stuff like that. So hopefully the quality of these videos are going to be pretty good. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions, shoot me a message and I'll answer them for you. Thanks a lot, guys. Bearded Watchman out.